Welcome back to Obscurus Gaming. Today we are reviewing the recently patched up Spacelines from the Far Out, an Xbox co-op game for up to 4 players that I've been meaning to play for a while now. Spacelines was released in 2022 and I just never got around to playing it for whatever reason. Since then, it has seen post-launch updates from a very attentive development team, Coffee Knot, based out of Brazil, and is currently on version 1.6, but is it any good? Let's find out. In Spacelines from the Far Out, you will be operating a newly formed space airline company with the help of up to 3 other players. You'll be tasked with going from space outpost to outpost as quickly as possible, while pleasing any and all passengers riding along. You're responsible for everything the passengers might need, like food, entertainment, or restroom needs, while also steering your ship through meteorites, comets, and other hazards. In true Overcooked style form, managing all these tasks at once is where the fun and chaos intersects. What's different about Spacelines versus many other co-op games like this is that the overall map is randomly generated, making every attempt to get to the end different. You will constantly be weighing what the best path to take is. Some outposts might have fueling stations, so you don't have to waste precious time stopping mid-flight, but others might have banks, upgrade shops, or other helpful things to improve your spaceship. At any point you can fail if you crash into too many hazards or fail an inspection, where you'll have to start from scratch with only any money you've deposited along the way. Aesthetically, Spacelines does an amazing job of making you feel like you're running your own airline in space. The attention to detail at the various spaceports and airline or flight elements add a ton to the gameplay experience, and I really enjoyed the 60s-esque pastel, catch me if you can type color scheme. The fact that your airline is rated on a scale of ultra economy to first class is a neat but simple touch, among many other little nods to airports and the tribulations of flying. Trying to get Uber Prime Spaceways, the randomly generated name of our company, to be labeled a 5-star first-class spaceline was really all the motivation we needed to finish the game. We found a good co-op strategy where one player pilots the ship and the other acts as a flight attendant. This strategy held up for the most part and thematically makes a lot of sense too. In single player, you'll need to rely more on your ship and system upgrades to help you get to the end, as you're guaranteed to become overwhelmed at some point with systems breaking, needing passengers, or by crashing. I haven't tested the game at 3 or 4 players, but I think the sweet spot is 1 if you want a challenge, and 2 if you want a fun time. I really don't have almost any negative things to say about Spacelines, but there's 2 things I think that keep it from being a great game. First, I found the game to be a bit short. We essentially successfully completed the flight on just our 2nd attempt, which kind of prevents the roguelite mechanics from taking form. We didn't have to play around with too many upgrades after finding a starting ship that worked well enough, something that procedurally generated games like this typically rely on for more depth. Like, I wish maybe after completing the first trip, you'd unlock a second, more difficult mission that would require you to really weigh upgrading options on your ship. Speaking of which, the second thing is more of just a missed opportunity, and it's just not being able to fully customize your ship. There are 3 starting options and another 8 or so blueprints that you can unlock, all with pros and cons. The variety is nice and thoughtful, but how cool would it be to fully customize exactly what you wanted your ship to look like? I would love being able to pick up and place the various systems anywhere I wanted. Did you want to make a passenger-heavy ship with lots of seats at the expense of a larger and fancier catering system? It would create really interesting decisions like that, while also adding some design elements that would really allow your creativity to shine through. Spacelines from the Far Out is a fun co-op indie game that I would recommend to family-level gamers or those just looking for a fun few nights of lighthearted co-op gaming. The gameplay is solid, and mostly fun, the game performs technically well and thematically does transport you to this quirky universe. It falters a bit in the gameplay balancing at times and overall content options, but nothing that would get in your way of enjoying the experience if you fall into one of those two camps. I personally would be excited for a follow-up to this experience that takes a deeper dive into the universe or adds ship customization, but even in its current form, it's a game that I would recommend at 1 to 2 players. Peace out, everyone.